quick recap of me talking about America just turned 250 years old, right? Real quick, so the United States semi-quincentennial was the 250-year anniversary of the United States, right? That just happened this year. So 250 years ago, it was 1776, right? Where, finally, we gain freedom, right? And this is when, the country is officially born, entering the world, right? So, yeah, 250 years of freedom, man. Nothing has changed, when it comes to United States freedom, obviously, right? And also, this country is very powerful, right? And also, living in this country, like it's better than, a lot of country, but I cannot say, the entire world, right? I just cannot, lie about the facts. I have to state it as it is, right? So yeah, there is a lot of reason, why, a lot of people, are celebrating this, right? We know that a lot of people are migrating here, even foreigners that want to live here is because, they just want to find a better life, and just, better futures, for themselves, their families, and their, possibly friends, right? This is why, we go to United States, right? And we feel, like, yeah, this is safe, comparing, to like a lot of countries, right? So yeah, this is why we want to go to the United States, because the United States, has very good, when it comes to, equality. I say the past 250 years, like we've been changing like drastically, right? So let's do a quick recap of what happened, 250 years ago. Like something so different. Like we will never experience, what happened, in the 1700s, right? We will never experience it because we don't have tape. Technology sucks back then, and we just don't have a good quality, to record that history in the past. But we can just learn it from like reading books, internets, and just newspaper or article, right? But it's not a time machine, that can just bring us back, to exactly, the circumstance, the atmosphere, and exactly what happened, in that time, right? So yeah, except our ancestors only know about it, right? So but then even my family, my parents came from Vietnam, right? So my ancestors possibly don't even know, what's happening in the United States, right? They don't even know because they're just in Vietnam, and we migrate here because we just want our lives to get better. We always find a way, to enhance our life, not to get worse, right? To become better, and live more, more enjoyable, right? And find just more freedoms, and safety is our priority, right? No matter where you go, safety is it, right? People also want to go here, it's not just because of, quality of life, because of safety. This is important, right? We want to feel safe, right? We don't want to live with, a corrupted government, right? Or, a communist, country, right? So, yeah. And we're just looking for your better job, better food, and better, everything, right? Yeah, we went through a lot, in the past 250 years, as Americans, right? All I can think of is like industrial revolution, going to, multiple world wars, right? Even having, civil war, right? Going to like so many, big wars and stuff, dealing with losses and, hard times, right? We went through, depression and all stuff. We went through a lots of, tons of, hard times in the past. And recently we even deal with COVID, right? So That's another thing. So yeah, 2026, very important year, to me, in my opinion, right? We, but however, here is, the negative news, that's just make this year just much the most scripted year, out of all years of American, not only that, but we've been, got a terrorist attack, exactly 25 years ago, that terrorist attack is only, a tenth of, the Americans, current age, right? It's crazy and scripted, man. And also exactly, 25 years old, just removing, 0 from 250, that's when, we got attacked by 9/11, apparently, I was only 3 years old back then, right? So yeah, it just shows you a lot, like America and the countries, I'm live around the world are far more older than me, right? Think of this, man. How long is 250 years? Of course you say it's gonna be a long time. No, it just isn't a long time, man. It's almost 3 human life time, right? Almost three. Well, specifically, it's 2.5 centuries, right? It's a quarter of 1,000 year, right? I mean, can you live for another 750 more years? I don't think so. It just doesn't matter like who's alive right now. They're all gonna be dead, They're not gonna even gonna make it, to like the 400th, year of the United States. It's just no chance in hell, right? Well, the only way you can live, for hundreds of years, maybe the only way is that, like, oh, you pass away, and then, you're you won't be alive, but your dead body's gonna be there. Like if you just bury, in the cemetery in like a much, secure coffin where your body doesn't break down. But I think we're all just gonna be like bones, if we don't get cremated, right? So yeah, we're gonna be long gone, But people, some people are happy, some people, they just don't care about this. But if people are the biggest fan of American, then or foreigners, that is a big American fan or that wants to come to America or that loves America. I mean, yeah, good for you guys. You lived through this time. You only get to experience this once, and you're gonna have to wait another 50 years, for the 300th edition, to come, right? The 300th year, so the third 3 century, right, Mark? I was curious, like, what happened, like, when we get to, like, 10th anniversary, the 50th and 25th anniversary, the 50th anniversary, the 100th anniversary. The 100 is a really big one that happens, God knows how long ago, Nobody is alive. Whoever was alive back then. Like, it's just so many periods, just passed by, right? Yeah, so America is at least 220 years older than me. Well, 222 to be exact, right? So kind of, special there, right? So yeah, imagine, all the way back to 1776, man. Like, yeah, like things just look so physically different, and human just evolve, right? So yeah, man, we're still fighting, for freedom. We still fight for more equality. I don't know when that's gonna come, right? But I just pray, it just gets better from here on, right? But I highly doubt it. I hope I'm wrong, right? I hope that things gets better than, I thought, right? I'm like, soon, many years from now, like, yeah, we're just gonna live in a world, full of technology, right? If things goes the right way, right? Hopefully we do not, end in a real big war, where, all the countries are just, all dead. So yeah. But last time we had a really big, global conflict was in 1946. So yeah. So America wasn't even 200 years old, back then, right? So yeah, I didn't study much, history of America. Unfortunately, it's not because I hate history, it's because, I don't take history, seriously enough, right? I only know that, oh, like before, the American came, we were the 13 colonies, right? We were. And we were being, controlled, and bullied by, other countries, saying as a fact and my opinion, right? Yeah, everybody just wants their own freedom, right? They don't want to be told what to do all the time. So, yeah, because we know that United States is the number one in military and strength-wise and powerful-wise and economical-wise, and this is why people want to go here because they know, like taking down and invading United States is pretty much impossible for any country, right? Yeah, like we are not a weak country. Even if we were a third world country, we're still gonna be very powerful, right? I'm like, yeah, we were friends, with a lot of countries and stuff, right? That's another thing. So there's nothing else much to say right there, but I wonder, like, all the people that just die, to fight, for America, right? Like wars and stuff, right? People sacrificing their lives, ending their life, early, right? I don't know what, else to say right now, right? And of course, like we're almost in like 40 trillion debt, so nothing else much to say right here.